This is 2025, and the conversation today is very, very important. So get your journal, get your writing materials, and invite everybody, invite your family members, invite your colleagues to join on. Because what we are going to treat today is foundational to everything that you are going to do in 2025. So we are going to be talking about your top 3 priorities in 2025. So everybody, as you join, tell me your name and tell me the city and the country that you're watching from. We are talking about your top 3 priorities in 2025. And I'm going to tell you in just a moment why you need to define your priorities before another 1 hour into 2025. So, your top 3 priorities in 2025. Type it in the comment section. Engage with me today. Engage with me. Type top 3 priorities in 2025. Everyone, as you tell me where you're joining from, type top 3 priorities in 2025. So remember, this is a coaching session, so it's not a teaching, it's not a lecture. So I expect your full participation. All right, Elizabeth Abban, thanks for coming in. James Chifuntwe, I hope I pronounced the name well. Jones, I beg your pardon, Jones. Christian Antwi Boasiako, thank you for joining. Tell me where you're watching from, what country, what city you're watching from, okay? And then type top 3 priorities for 2025. You see, you don't want to get into this year without priorities, because as you're going to discover later, your greatest enemy this year is going to be distractions. There are so many things that will distract you this year. And in fact, the distractions have already started. Literally, every single minute. For those of you in the United States, those of you joining from the United States, of course, you know what's going on with, after Sarah Adams' popular podcast last year in December. I forget the name of the podcast host, but he's a very popular gentleman. And we've been seeing things happening in different parts of America in just the first few hours into 2025. So there are going to be so many distractions. And already, if you go into the media space, the social media space here in Africa, you're already hearing all kinds of celebrity gists and all kinds of things. Somebody got on stage, a fan of a celebrity musician got on stage, he kicked him out, decided, all those stories, we're going to deal with them tonight by priorities. Okay. Konjeni Hiwa says, priorities, complete my bachelor's degree, complete my house, improve my work. Excellent, excellent. Right, Miranda Frederick is joining us from Los Angeles. Okay, investment strategy, your priorities. In fact, thank you very much. Konjeni, you've actually started a very important part of the session tonight. So I would like all of you, as you join, before I give you the top 3 priorities that affect everyone, I want every one of you joining this session to type your top 3 priorities in 2025. This is a requirement for this session. This is a requirement for this session. Okay? Type your top 3 priorities. Type your top 3 priorities as you join. What are your top 3 priorities in 2025? You see, I was jogging with a young man today, very brilliant young man, a child of in my neighborhood, and I asked him, like I ask young people and people I mentor, so what book are you reading? Because if you come close to me, you must be ready to answer that question. You should always have a book, something you're reading, because I'm going to ask. If I meet you at the airport, I'm going to ask you what book you're reading. And so he says he's reading a book for the 3rd time, written by Miles Monroe. And the title of that book is something around vision and purpose. So I asked him the highlights. And then it was in the purpose of sharing his highlights for that book he read that he said something around vision around clarity, and then something around priorities. So we got talking about priorities. Very brilliant young person. And I gave him a scenario. I said, look at, he's only 21, going to be 22 this year. Brilliant young man. So I said, okay, give me, let's do a thought experiment. Let's do a thought experiment. I said, I want you to imagine two 21-year-olds. Okay. One of them is very, very clear on his priorities. He's very, very clear on what he wants to do. He has clarity. And then he focuses on it. And then the other one does not have clarity and does not organize his activities and his thoughts in priorities. So he basically jumps into anything that comes his way. And he is prone to destruction, all kinds of destruction. So I say, let's do a thought experiment. Tell me what would happen to that teenager A, or well, he's not a teenager now, 20, to that 21-year-old who has priorities. And then tell me, paint a picture of that 21-year-old who has no priorities and no clarities around his vision and goal in the next 5 years. When both of them become 26 years, what would they look like? So I want to throw the same thought experiment to you. I want to throw the same thought experiment to you, all of you in the session. All right, so I want you to imagine your you right now. Okay, imagine two versions of you. Okay, everybody, two versions of you. Now, this is January. So I want you to imagine a version of you that has no priorities, no clarity around your goals. So anything can happen and you are open to anything, but you have no goals, you have no clarity, you have no priorities either. So imagine that version of you. Now what I'm saying is very serious. Then imagine the other version of you that as I'm talking to you today, 3rd of January, this version of you is very, very clear on your priorities. You're very, very clear on the things that you aim for, you want to achieve this year. You're very, very clear around the skills that you need to build in order to achieve that goal. You're very, very clear around the obstacles that you have to overcome in order to achieve your goals for 2025. Imagine those two versions of you. And then tell me, at the end of December 2025, by December 31st, how would those two versions of you fare? All right? Type in the comment section. Everybody, do that in the comment section. How would the two versions of you? So the version A, let's call your version that has no priorities, has no clarity around goals. That's version A. And then your version B, you're very, very clear. You have clear understanding of what must happen this year in your life, in your family, in your career, in your finances. And then you know exactly the discipline you have to build around it to make it happen. Tell me about those two versions of you. Which version would you like to be and why? Would you like to be version A or would you like to be version B? And then tell me why. Every one of you do this. Every one of you do this. Okay. And then some of you have, while we are doing this, some of you have typed your top 3 priorities. So let me highlight a few of them. This is really beautiful. What a wonderful audience tonight. Okay. Forgive me if I don't pronounce your name very well. This is Ilex Lewis. All right. Start buying used engine in Canada. That's number 1. Getting a wife, number 2, and going back to school. Fantastic. You see, what happens, when you actually write down top priorities? Can somebody tell me what happens to you? Okay. Type energy. There's some energy that comes from nowhere. That's really what prioritizing, does for you. So, Louis, thank you for sharing that. Okay. Then we have Sunday Jude. Okay. His priorities, reading every day, improving spirituality, and making money. Fantastic. I like that. Okay. And I like that you also mentioned spirituality. At some point tonight, I'm going to give us, remind me somebody, if I forget it later. But I'm going to tell you, especially we Africans, I'm going to tell you something about religion and spirituality. They are totally different things. too many of us are religious, and it's a controversial opinion, but I think religion is the number one enemy of Africans. I know it's controversial, but I hope I have the time to tell you about it today and to tell you why we are called. God calls us to spirituality, not to religion. You see, you find people who are religious, they are so committed to religion that they could kill. They could kill for religion. And then you find people who are so religious, but they are mean. You find people who are religious, but they are still sleeping, with wives of members of the religious organization and things like that. So religion isn't the answer. And you find people who are religious, but they are still very, very poor, so dogmatic. But I'm going to remind me, I don't want to jump ahead again. Remind me if I forget to tell you about the difference between spirituality and religion, and why Christ did not come to set up a religion. He came to set up spirituality, came to give us, to restore the things that we lost originally in Eden. And it doesn't discriminate against any race or against anybody with any religious background or something. It doesn't discriminate. Spirituality does not discriminate. Religion is based on fear. Spirituality is based on love. So just remind me to talk about that. So Sunday, I'm kind of triggered that you mentioned spirituality, because for me, that's a priority. Okay, Seth says, getting a work visa to Israel and then buying 60 plus farms, 60 plus, maybe 60 hectares or something. Okay, very good. David says, priorities 2025, finish my tertiary education, start graphics design work, having a positive mindset. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay. Chidebere Namani. So if you're just joining us, type your top 3 priorities for 2025. Networking, get better jobs, move to a better environment. I love that. I love that. Okay. Kingsley Nduberze, thanks for joining us. Okay. Akonde Abiola says, yeah. Okay. So talking about your version A and your version B. So you said your version A will be sleeping on the couch at the end of the year, but your version B will be in your apartment, scaling up your business, keeping fit at the gym and learning Chinese language. Fantastic. I love this. I've got to love this comment. That's fantastic. Okay. How am I able to do that? Just a second. I got to love this comment. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So someone else tell me about your version A. Chidebere says, I would always choose version A with clear priorities. Why? Growth. And then Chidebere says, without growth, you cease to grow. Absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, Timmy Prehunter, I see you. I cite you. Mildred Sinkala, I cite you. Anita Babalola, I cite you. Okay, Theophilus say 2-4, cite you. I suspect that is from Ghana. Okay, great. So we are talking about your top 3 priorities for 2025. Born for Greatness says top 3 priorities: God, family, and making money. I love that. Okay. Praise Toba says, read the whole of my Bible twice this year, improve my learning skills on digital space, make more money, okay, and win soul for Christ. Okay. Chidima says, Awogo says, seek more knowledge in my career, seek God in prayer, and study the word, gain financial stability. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, let me tell you what happens when you have clearly written down priorities like this. This is one of the weapons against distraction, because distraction is going to be your number one enemy this year. Everybody type, every one of you type in the comment section, distraction is my number one enemy in 2025. Type it, every single one of you. Type, distraction is my number one enemy in 2025. It's my number one enemy. Type it. Distraction is my number one enemy in 2025. Type it, because I want you to feel it, because it is true. Distraction is my number one enemy in 2025. Distraction is my number one enemy in 2025. Type it, because I'm going to tell you what we are going to do about distraction. Distraction is my number one enemy in 2025. Now, you've already started dealing with this distraction, because one of the enemies of distraction, because you need an enemy to that enemy, is actually writing down your priorities, and that is what you guys have done. Priority means that anything else outside of that thing does not stand. Priority means that every content you consume must fall within it. Now, if your priority is to make more money, but you find yourself scrolling through social media for 6 hours, 8 hours a day, and you're not making money scrolling, then you know that you're falling out of priorities, and then you're falling into distraction. Distraction is the enemy. And then one of the things that we have to do tonight is to build a distraction-proof year. So somebody type distraction-proof year. Say, type in the comment section, affirm it, this is my distraction-proof year. Because you are going to use the strategies I'm going to talk about to deal with distraction. Okay? This is my distraction-proof year. Okay? This is my distraction-proof year. Okay. So now, one more comment before I now dive straight into the top 3 priorities is, there was an experiment we used to do in secondary school so many years ago, and if you also did it, then it was integrated science. In my time, we did 1978, 1979, we did 5 years in secondary school here in Nigeria. I don't know what it is in other parts of the world, but in I think recently, not quite recently, maybe sometime around the 80s or 90s, secondary school became 6 years. But now, in my time, in integrated science, we had a favorite experiment. You know, one of our favorite experiments. You know, we will go outside, put newspaper. In those days of newspapers, you know, newspapers are not quite popular today the way they used to be in those days, because the digital has taken over everything. And then we put newspaper outside of the classroom. We put it on the grass, put it on the field, and under the sun, and then nothing happens. But when we now bring a convex mirror, I believe it's a convex mirror, and then we converge and focus the rays of the sun on that newspaper, what happened? If you did that experience, if you did that experiment, what typically happens when you use a convex mirror and then you focus the rays of the sun on the newspaper? Yeah, of course, it catches fire. It catches fire. So what just happened? That's what prioritizing does for you. Because you see, before you stepped into 2025, God had already given you all the energy, all the resources, all the wisdom, all the mindfulness, all the consciousness, everything you need, relationships, networks, that you need to accomplish a perfect 2025. But what happens is that many of us put our hands in too many things. We scatter our forces. We scatter our energies. And so, the energy that we should have used to focus on 3 things, we divert it into 31 things. And for some of you, it has already started happening. At the beginning of the year, somebody tells you, oh, there's this investment. Just put in, all you need to do is just give us 30,000 naira. Or I don't know whether it happens in Ghana. It's all you need to do is just give us, put in 500 cedis. And then every month, we will pay you 3,000 cedis. Does it happen in Ghana? It happens a lot in Nigeria. And in other countries joining us from here. Now, you go into that. 2 weeks later, you lose your money. Then another one says, oh, Forex is a very, very popular one. Oh, Forex trading, Forex millionaire. This one is worth $300 million in Forex. Oh, this one, I make $10,000 a day. This other one, oh, come join Bitcoin. You know, okay, so somebody says Forex, you dive into Forex. Then you do Forex January, February, by March, you're tired. And you lose the little money that you have saved. You get disenchanted. Then another person says, oh, cryptocurrency. This one I make 100 million. Like one of them said, I make 100 million every week. Then you go to him, say, guy, please teach me. I beg, teach me. Show me the way. Then you dive into cryptocurrency. You do that one for the whole of April. You get tired. And then you lose money again. Somebody says, okay, real estate. You jump in. So by the end of the year, by December, you have done so many things and accomplished nothing. You have done up to 19 different things. And then you achieved nothing. Do you know why? Because you were scattering your forces. You're scattering your energy into many things. You didn't have priorities. You didn't have that clarity. So priorities help you do exactly what that convex mirror does to the newspaper. That's what helps you. Now, if you are joining us new and you haven't already shared this, I would appreciate that you go ahead and share it. Share it right now. Everybody, take 10 seconds, the next 10 seconds, and share it. Share it to your network. Share it to your team. Then when you are finished sharing it, type shared in the comment section. Let me know that you have done that. So, and then you can use a caption. You've got to watch this now. You've got to watch this now. So just share and say, you've got to watch this now. All right, everyone, please share. And then if you haven't also clicked the love button, do that. Let the algorithm let people know that there is value here. That there's value here. Many of you have been praying for this kind of value, which often you have no access to. Because many of you have been trying to do one-on-one with me, only to discover that the cheapest fee to work with me one-on-one is $300 an hour. Sorry, $300 per session. And then you have to do minimum of 8 sessions. So for us to get that result. But you see, you have that high quality content, this value free, this high value coaching that people pay me from $300 a session. You have it free. So all you can do is share it and put a love button, on what you're hearing, so that other people can also have access to it. Okay. Thank you. I see shared. I see shared. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sumaila, Idris. Thank you. Yeah, good evening, Obed. Okay, Eleojo Omede. Achieng Ogol. All right. Adaihe Eze. Right. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, very good. Please share it, and then touch the love button. Okay. Thank you, Anita. Okay, very good. So let's start. Top 3 priorities in 2025. Okay. So I know that you have written some very specific things, but I'm going to give you a very powerful outline. I'm going to give you a very powerful framework to build your priorities in 2025. Now, these top 3 priorities I'm going to share with you will guarantee that you achieve everything that you set out to do this year. So get ready, take notes, reflect whatever aha moment. If something I say is an aha to you, it's like an eye-opener, put it immediately in the comment section. Because what happens is when you type these things, it registers. Somehow it registers in your system. It registers in your spirituality. It registers in your nervous system. And it becomes something that you have owned. So that the word, when you catch something, an insight that you should act on, make a note of it. Type it in the comment section. All right? Then, in that way, it becomes yours. And then it becomes very easy for you to relate with it. Okay. So, priority number 1. Everybody type it in the comment section. Priority number 1, manage yourself. Manage yourself. That is priority number 1. Manage yourself. And this priority is much more important than all those other 3 things that you talked about. You know why? Because if you can't manage yourself, you won't be able to secure that work visa to Israel. You won't be able to complete that house. You won't be able to complete that your tertiary education. Because if you can't manage yourself, just a little habit of procrastination can kill all your dreams. Did you know just one toxic habit, one negative habit of procrastination alone can kill all your dreams? And then for some of you listening to me, procrastination dealt with you in 2024. If you are that person, just say, that's me. Be very authentic and be very honest here. Remember, I told you that the beginning of every transformation is truth telling, telling the truth, telling the truth about your current condition. So procrastination killed many dreams in 2024, possibly including your own dream. Procrastination is a dream killer. And then that's why managing yourself is a top priority. So now let me talk about how you manage yourself. Let me talk about 3 or 4 aspects of managing yourself. Because the reason you want to manage yourself is that if you can't manage yourself, you can't manage others. If you can't manage yourself, you can't manage anything. Does it make sense? It's for this reason that African politicians fail. They are not able to deliver results. So some of you who followed my posts today, especially on LinkedIn, it was really very viral on LinkedIn. The conversation was incredible because there was something that President Museveni of Uganda, said, which I shared and then made a few comments on it, and it generated so much. So people were basically talking about how bad, the African leaders are, and then later in the day, I shared, my wonder on how just 1,500 people, so-called elected politicians, are holding over 215 million people, million Nigerians hostage, 1,500 people. Now, they don't deliver. These people don't deliver. And then for those of you, in different countries in Africa, there's a very big disconnect between your politicians. Total disconnect. There's no connection at all between your politicians and you. They don't know you exist. They don't care. Okay? If you understand what I'm talking about, just talk about that. They don't care. They were not elected for you. They care for themselves and only for themselves. Just look around you. And then, why is it like that? Because these are people who have not conquered themselves. They have not conquered themselves. Now, remember what Professor Lumumba said a couple of years ago. He said, if you don't conquer yourself, you are going nowhere. Somebody should type that in the comment section. If you don't conquer yourself, you are going nowhere. So that is why the priority this year is to conquer yourself. These people have not conquered themselves. They've not conquered their bad habits. You see your politicians. I don't even want to talk about the things that those people do. I don't even want to talk about what they do. Because this one I witnessed, not that they told me, but when they go to have a meeting somewhere, they bring all these girls, which are paid for. They bring girls, young girls, teenagers, university students, and distribute to these politicians. These are the people. So people who are doing things like that, are they the people who will care for you? Are they the people who will care for the rights of women? The people abusing women. So I don't even want to talk about the things that they do. So let's leave politicians alone. Let me talk about you and myself. So managing yourself involves, number 1, conquering yourself, conquering the within. Okay? Being able to say no to your lustful desires, to your pride, to your whatever, just being able to, just conquer yourself. Some people call it your inner demons. Because if you don't remove the log in your own eyes, what many of us do, we are carrying logs in our eyes, but we are bothered and worried and then complaining and criticizing the little specks in other people's eyes. So you first remove the log in your eyes, conquer yourself. Some of you are still battling the habit of pornography. And there's nothing wrong in saying it's me, if you are there. By the way, I have a whole series of videos on my page that helps, especially men, come out of pornography and masturbation. For those of you, who are, struggling with pornography, you know how difficult that habit is. Because I have also been there. I have been there. So in my younger years, I suffered porn addiction. And I can tell you unequivocally, and I can tell you with absolute authority, that pornography eats your life. Literally eats. It puts your life on a plate, on a dining plate with fork and knife, and it's eating it one flesh at a time, one masturbation to pornography at a time. So the problem with it is that when you can't pornography takes so much mental bandwidth. So that mental bandwidth you should be using to create ideas. That mental bandwidth you should be using to build your business, to build your relationship with your spouse. Pornography takes it up. And then when you're walking along the road, along the road or in the office with your colleagues, you are seeing women as sexual objects. You're not seeing them as human beings. You're not seeing them as human beings. You're not seeing them as your colleagues at work. You are not seeing the young women that you see on the streets as human beings. Because you are addicted to porn, your mind is seeing them as sex objects. Then when you now go back to your room in the night, you're using all those objects. You know, I know these things because I've been there. So you really need to conquer yourself. You really need to conquer yourself. And then for some of you, it might be some other secret habits. For some of you, it might be some other secret. For some of you, it might be gambling. For some of you, it might be smoking. It might even be drugs, light drugs and all kinds of things. So your priority this year is to conquer yourself. For some of you, conquering yourself might involve, staying out of debt. Staying out of debt. Some of us are chronic borrowers. We've borrowed from literally all our friends. Some people have borrowed from all their friends. They've borrowed from their family members. Borrow, all over the place. So you need to conquer yourself. So we're talking about number one priority is to manage yourself. Managing yourself involves number one, conquering yourself. All right. Conquering yourself also involves saying no to distractions like endless TikTok scrolling. I have to say no to myself because sometimes I just found these algorithms are so crazy. They pour dopamine into your mind. So before I know it, I've scrolled 30 minutes and 1 hour, especially on TikTok. So being able to say no to those distractions, okay? And then now, conquering yourself within involves not just throwing away those habits, you also want to build habits to replace it. Because like they say, nature doesn't permit vacuum. So you have to build positive habits to take the place of the habits that you are letting go. Okay. So I find reading fantastic. I find reading is, my joy. All these books, I've opened all these books. All these books you see behind me. And this is just, I have library in all the places I live. This is one house, like our country place in the city. I have one like this. So sometimes you see a different set of library behind me. I've opened all of them. Do you know how? Why? Because most of these books, like 95% of them, I bought them in the United States. Because every time I go to the United States, as I'm landing in any particular city where I'm going to stay, whether I'm staying with family or I'm staying in a hotel, first thing I look up, and my family will tell you, I look up used bookstores near me. I spend every time I visit the United States, I spend a lot of time in used bookstores. So sometimes I get into a used bookstore at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. just as they are opening. And I'm there, reading books, checking out books. Sometimes I get some really very rare books. Like the book written by Benjamin Franklin in the 1700s. One of them, I got it from a used bookstore in America. Rare finds. So, the reading habit is a powerful replacement habit for negative habits. Because you see, reading takes you into new worlds. Reading introduces you into empires, into places where you've never gone. But in the pages of book, you can go to places. You can visit empires. You can enjoy experiences in Singapore. You can journey in time with the author. Somebody who wrote something. I have books written in the 1920s here. I have books written in the 1920s. I have books written in the 1800s. And it's just amazing because it gives you very rich tapestry across time. I have books written on the origin of advertising, how advertising started in the world, that told me how breakfast was, how they started marketing breakfast cereals. The geniuses who did it, how they did it. So I discovered that there is no problem you're facing in your life right now that somebody has not solved and written about in between the pages of books. So books hold specific mysteries, for me. And I think books became like a really perfect replacement habit, for my negative habits. So conquer yourself. Then number 2, conquer your bad habits. You see, all this impulsive spending, one-bear parties, trendy gadgets, lack of discipline in your budgeting and things like that. You have to conquer your bad habits. Number 3, part of managing yourself is set boundaries. Set boundaries for yourself. You see, that phone can be a curse or it can be a blessing. People never take their hands off their phone. I'm sitting at the airport. I'm in the plane. It's practically difficult because now, in Nigeria, they tell you to turn off your phone in the plane. For a lot of people, it's practically impossible. The air hostess is there literally trying to see if you can't extract people from their phones. And then if they manage to turn it off, as soon as the plane is landing, the plane hasn't landed before it touches down, your headphones are open. And it's like they would die if you don't have their phones. So when you find yourself towards such compulsion, you need to set healthy boundaries, for yourself this year. Okay, so now let's go into this coaching session. All right. Now, this is the time for you to interact with me. It's a coaching session. So now, I want you, everyone, to give me an example of a bad habit that you're going to replace. And then give me an example of the boundary you are going to set for your discipline. The boundary that you want to set for yourself. Because the good thing about discipline is the boundary. Because discipline is what, if you say, for instance, you are, I'm trying to use an example for Zambia because I have a couple of Zambia people here, but I don't know another town in Zambia. People in Zambia, can you give me an example of a town that maybe is like 100 kilometers or something from Lusaka? Okay, so let's say you're going from Lusaka to a particular city, okay, north of Lusaka. That's 100 kilometers. There's a road. There's an express road. So that express road is your boundary as it is. It's like the discipline. As long as you stay on that express road that goes from Lusaka to that particular place, 100, you are going to arrive at that destination. But the moment you veer off and then take another road off that express, you are not going to arrive at that particular destination. So that's exactly what discipline does in your life. Discipline is not denial. Because for a lot of people, discipline is it's a very uncomfortable word. When you say discipline, it brings memory of something negative, something that they have to deny themselves of. No, the positive understanding of discipline is you are going somewhere and then you're asking yourself, how do you keep yourself focused to stay along the boundaries of the values that will take you there? A few years ago, and I wrote it in my book, Financial Freedom for Every Youth. If you haven't read that book, please buy it and read it tonight. Okay? And then also, if you have not downloaded and filled that book, let me just put the link in the comment section. If you've not made completed your financial freedom plan for 2025, I think you should take a moment and buy that worksheet and then complete it. Then this thing that we're talking about tonight will now make a lot more sense, to you. So let me see if I can put the Let me see if I can put the how do I edit this comment? Okay, let me just add another comment. Let me just add it. So I've just added the link to buying the worksheet that will allow you to plan a distraction-free year. Okay, so we were talking about I was asking you to give me examples, okay, to give me examples of the first part of the managing yourself, the first part that the first priority that we talked about. Okay, so give me practical examples, your own examples. I'm taking a look at another phone. I'm taking a look at another phone to read your comments. Okay. Excellent, excellent. So give me examples of the boundaries, because we're talking about the boundaries you have to set for yourself. So, and I gave some example. Turn off your phone during focused work hours, okay? To avoid WhatsApp group chats and calls. There are some other boundaries I set up. I don't take phone calls. I hardly take phone calls. So if you have my phone number, I usually have a rule. You send a message first, because anytime you call, you're interrupting me. You're interrupting something I'm doing. And then that interruption can cost me a lot. So I have a personal boundary that if you want to reach me, you first of all send a WhatsApp message, and in that WhatsApp message, you're very clear as to why you want to speak with me. And then I will be the one to call you back. So give me examples of the discipline boundaries that you can set around yourself to conquer yourself, to conquer your bad habits, and then to set discipline. Okay, give me your examples quickly. I want live examples. Okay, let me turn on all the comments here so I can see that I'm only seeing a few. All right, so go ahead everyone and do that, because this is not this is not a teaching session, it's a coaching session. Yes, Oha Godwin watching from Congo DRC, good evening, you're welcome. Okay, Musa Fashasi, is it Fasasi or Fashasi? All right, you're a realtor. Nemesis Paul from Zambia. Okay, you're welcome. So give me examples. Give me examples of how you're going to conquer yourself in 2025. Mamadou is watching, is joining us from USA. You're welcome. Okay, and I hope you guys stay safe in the US. Okay, keep it coming. Give me examples, and then we go to the second one, second priority. Okay, give me examples of how you are going to conquer yourself, how you are going to manage yourself. I need specific examples. Probably not seeing these comments. Okay, I need specific examples. How are you going to conquer yourself in 2025? We are talking about top 3 priorities for those of you just joining us. And then we said that the priority number 1 is to manage yourself. And then managing yourself involves 3 things. Number 1, conquer within. Number 2, conquer your bad habits. And number 3, set boundaries of discipline. All right. So I'm asking you for examples, okay? What are you going to do to yourself to make sure that it's a distraction-free year for you? Okay, I'm probably not seeing your comments. I'm not sure how this is being organized. I'm trying to remove this one. Unpin comment. Okay, so all right. Okay, good. I can see. I think yeah, it's not coming on this. All right. Okay, so David says, boundaries I need to set around myself, limiting social media. Okay. And then one way to make it actually actionable is, don't just say limiting social media. David, you want to be very specific, as to, if you're saying limiting it, you might say something like, spend 2 hours during lunchtime or something like that. Just make it something measurable, but it's a good start. Okay, Obed says, I want to give less time to social media and force more on my goals this year by reading books and learning my forex trading skills. Very good, I like that. Okay. Chinoya Eze, okay, just joining us. Chika Anigo, okay, just joining us. All right. Okay, good. Very good. I think I like these examples. Chidebere says, boundaries to set for 2025, putting my phone off during work sessions and avoiding unnecessary outings. Fantastic. And I like that one because those unnecessary outings can be very expensive. When I come to Lagos, anytime I'm in Lagos, you just step out. I don't know if it happens to you, but I step out of Lagos. I just step out of the house, as you're stepping out. Money is also stepping out of your bank account, So you really want to be, so I like that. Edward says, I want to spend less time on my phone and more time reading and actually finishing my books because I have a bad habit of lack of concentration. So I don't finish the book I pick up to read. Very, very good. Okay, Chika Wodna says, reducing the time I spend on phone to reading more books. I agree. Because like I said, if you move one bad habit, you have to replace it with another one. Okay, so I can see. Born for Greatness says, I want to focus on my own decisions first, okay? Tapa says, spending strictly according to budget, okay? Etim says to be punctual at work. Very, very good examples. Godwin says, being able to say no to lustful desires, say no to impulse expense. Very, very good. Okay. Those lustful desires are very, very strong because our society today is so sexualized, highly sexualized. Everything, social media, advertisements, everything, programs everywhere you go. So I agree with you that you need to manage yourself around that area. Okay, so priority number 2, everyone get ready for it. Get your notes ready. Priority number 2. Priority number 2. Get your notes ready and get ready to type it. So priority number 2, build relationships. Build relationships. Let me attempt to convince you that that is a major priority because the relationship quality that I see around me and in this generation, the relationship qualities of family, of friends, are totally, broken down in many cases. Just before I came online, a man with another woman that allegedly is his wife, sent a video. They are in hard times. They need medical bills, for their children and for themselves and all that. And I get videos like that all the time. And then he said they had not eaten for some days. They borrowed money from online app, and those people are harassing the hell out of them. And then they are sending these videos. God knows to how many people that they have sent videos with their bank account and asking for people to send money to them. There are so many things like this happening. And then the number one question that usually goes to my mind is, where is your family, guy? Where is your family? Where are your brothers, sisters, uncles, your father, your mother? Another girl reached out to me a couple of months ago. Whether she ran away from home or something, she doesn't have money to eat and all that. Young girl, like mid-20s. And the question is, where are your parents? She still has parents. She said, no, I can't go back to them. And I can't go back to them because they warned me before I got into this kind of situation that she found herself. So we do not have high quality relationship. There's a reason that you are part of a family. Every one of us here is part of a family. And then I look at my family is just such a blessing. Such a blessing. I didn't know what kind of situation I will get into, that the thing we have to cross. First of all, you've got to cross. It's that problem has to, first of all, even cross the defense, the family defense, my own family defense. Like, first of all, it has to cross my wife. Because there's no kind of problem imaginable that my wife and I have not had to solve in our nearly 30 years of marriage. Just talking about it, praying about it, putting our heads together, coming up with a solution. Now, if that problem defeats my wife and myself, then there's the family, with our children. Then, if it defeats my immediate nuclear family, then there's a wider family. There are my in-laws. I have amazing relationship with them. Relationship with my in-laws. They are not even, I don't even call them in-laws. They are my wife's elder sisters. She's the last. They are my sisters. They are my blood sisters. So before I come to social media to beg you, my goodness, I have lines of defense. Lines of defense. Or is it the husbands of my wife's sisters, who are like my elder brothers? One of them is always checking up on me, calling, like it's my father is calling. And then when you see both of us, you won't even know that we are co-in-laws. He's a father figure to me. Such a blessing, having relationship. And then, before I now go to their own children, that's my wife's nieces and nephews, who are all doing very well. Before I now come to my own brothers and their wives and their children. So usually when people come and they're begging, I'm asking, where is your family? Now, if the thing now defeats friends, my goodness. If it now defeats family, I beg your pardon, friends. Friends I have. I have a friend who, a couple of years ago, when we were really living in the GRA, there was a time that armed robbery, was just rampant there. Some armed robbers came in the middle of the night, around a couple of minutes past 1 a.m., and they came straight. Apparently, maybe there's an insider or somebody had been monitoring me, and then the guys felt this guy is a rich person, which I've been screaming since the beginning of the time, I am not a rich person. I'm not a rich person. But they came, broke through the gates, now started breaking the windows to jump into the house. It was a townhouse, we were living at the time, and I was working with Shell at the time. And I called the security, the estate security. They couldn't come. Police people came, but they stood in a distance, and while these people were making an entry into our house, then I called a friend. That guy left his house, came in, and he personally led the police people to my gate. By that time, those people had left, and they were not able to break into the place. Guys, do you have a friend like that? A friend that could stick, risk his life for you? Jesus said, greater love has no man than this, and a man should lay down his life for his friends. Do you have friends that can lay down their lives for you? If you don't have, you need to build solid relationships. Many of us are suffering financially because we don't have good relationships. You don't have good relationship with family, with friends, with colleagues. You don't have good relationship with your competitors in the same industry, with your associations. You don't have good relationships with your customers. Your customers are the source of your wealth. Your customers are your bank. They are your employees. They're the ones who pay you. And you don't have good relationships with them. You sell bad products to them. They trust you. You sell fake products to them. They've done it to me. You sell fake product to them. This product is fake. It's not good. And then you sell it to them knowing full well that that's a fake product. Then they go home with it, and then first use, the thing breaks down. And then you refuse a return. And you refuse to refund them. What kind of human being are you? So priority number 2, build relationships, because relationships will build you. My ancestors passed down a proverb to us. They said that he who has relationships is wealthier than he who has money. And it's happened to me, so many times. He who has relationships is like, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage in my life, food is not my problem. Food is not my problem. And I eat cooked food just once in the day. But do you know that every day, including today, there are neighbors, there are people who cook food. I'm like literally begging, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much. But food is coming from left, right, and center. God just said, receive, every good and perfect gift is from. So I can't say no. But there's just so much, there's just, I don't know, blessing of relationships. So I might not have money for something, but I call, I make a phone call, and that thing is possible because of the relationship. So prioritize relationships, okay? So there are two kinds of relationships that you want to prioritize. There's a vertical relationship, okay? And then this is the way I want, maybe this is the point I'm going to talk about, the difference between religion and spirituality, because we get them mixed up, and they're not the same thing. So there's a vertical relationship. That vertical relationship has two parts. One is to your maker. Because whether you believe it or not, you didn't just appear. My first degree was in zoology, where they taught us evolution. So I know everything you should know about evolution. We read Darwin's Origin of Species, natural selection, gene mutations, and all those things. So nice and good. But guys, I tell you, there is intelligent design. Even as a professional zoologist or biologist, I did all those things for the academic exercise. I enjoyed it, and there were some things that Darwin talked about, like in the Origin of Species and then or natural selections, that make a lot of sense. I kind of enjoyed it, but guys, you have a creator, and it makes no difference whether you believe it or not. Now, I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about Christianity or Islam or Hindu or even atheism. Those people who say that they are atheists are even the worst, because we all believe in something. You just have a different, whatever. So there's a creator. You need a relationship with him. Why it's important is that that's what keeps your essence. That's what keeps your beingness aligned. You see, because the fear of God is what has kept me. I'm going to be 60 years of age this year. Is the fear of God that has kept me from sexual immorality before and after marriage. It's powerful, and I can tell you, I am peaceful. I sleep well. See all those things you read on social media that I write? I sleep well. I have no care in the world, because I know him, and I have his fear in my heart. It's the fear of God that keeps me from doing evil, from harming people. How could you not want this sort of thing? How could you not want that? It's the fear of God that keeps me from doing evil. A few years ago, my wife and children, we were holidaying in America. We were in a city in Greeley, in Colorado, about 1 hour away from Denver. So we went shopping in one of these Walmart super centers, and we bought quite a number of things. And then, because I remember the shopping list, was whatever. So, but while we were at the till checking out, I saw a really beautiful nail cutter. When you go to the cashier, these supermarkets have a way of putting things that you want to pick up last minute to increase their sales. So it might be chocolate, it might be some sweets, some cookies, and all kinds of things, or batteries, or something you just want to buy. So I picked up this nail cutter. At that time, it was 99 cents. I put it there, but then when we went to our rented car at the park, with our shopping cart, we're putting all the things in the boot and all that. And then I was just taking a look at when we got to the nail cutter, and I saw that this nail cutter was not paid for. So for some reason they didn't, and then it didn't beep. Maybe they didn't. It was just 99 cents or something, so they didn't bother putting whatever. So it didn't beep. So I didn't know. that we had it. But when I saw in the list that they didn't, whatever, but that was 99 cents. It's nothing. So I had to keep my wife and children. I think maybe one of the children or somebody just came back with me. And then I went back into the store, went there to the line and said, this thing was not added. It was not added. So here's your money. So they scanned that and I paid them the 99 cents. Because I can't keep what does not belong to me. In fact, about the same time, we went to Fort Collins. So Fort Collins used to have, what do they call this market? Flea market, okay? Flea market, F-L-E-A. So Fort Collins used to have, I think they probably still have those flea markets. So we drove down there because sometimes you find some nice collectibles in the flea market. So we drove down to Fort Collins from Greeley, Colorado. And we bought a couple of things, bought some really nice things. And then if you've been to those flea markets, because they have all kinds of goods, they're not really usually like organized like a proper shop where you scan things. Well, that was then, I don't know what it is like now. So some of them still write out their receipts by hand. When we got to the place that we're staying in Greeley, and then we're checking, just kind of admiring the things that we bought and then checking, we found that the man did not include one of the items. And then that item was $40. That was a lot of money. That item was $40. And then we checked through, we didn't see that, And I'm Nigerian, carrying green passport. So, and the way they treat us out there, it's just horrible because once they see the green passport, they believe that you automatically. So that guy was thoroughly shocked. Picked up the phone and called him and said, hey, you didn't add this item. So we want to pay you for it. So we just gave him the card number. He took his money. Do you know what keeps me doing that? It's the fear of God. It's the fear of God. I have raised daughters, girls that were not my own biological children. I've raised them. They've lived in my house. And some of them I raised in different countries. They stay with me. They travel with me alone. They ride in the car with me alone. They come to visit me when I'm outside the country. For those of them outside, they come to visit me alone. Stay in the hotel. They come to visit me. We have lunch or something alone. When my wife didn't travel with me and things like that. But you see, I'm a father to them. And it's the fear of God that keeps me from doing wrong. And then these children feel extremely comfortable. Women feel extremely comfortable near me. Extremely comfortable near me. Now, it's not that I don't have desires. It's not that the enemy doesn't bring those thoughts. But the fear of God kills them. So you need a relationship. It's important for your wealth. Because you don't want to have, like I tell the people I'm coaching. And like I told my family, because it was also a very big statement I made for my wife and my children. I do not want one single cent in my account, to contaminate, that doesn't belong to me, to contaminate my wealth. I don't want to have something that does not belong to me contaminating my wealth. It's a fear of God because I have a relationship with Him. Why would you not desire this? Why is this a problem for people? I'm not talking about going to church or going to a mosque. It's not religious. See, the fear of God keeps you, gives you wisdom, gives you success, gives you peace. So, I'm going to be 60 years. I've traveled around the world. I've worked in different communities, like during my oil and gas career. I've worked in places where the girls in the Delta, Niger Delta, would come to you and say, we want to sleep with you and have a baby for you. We don't want you to marry us. We just want to sleep with you. We just want to have a baby. And then because when you do that, you sleep with them, they just need small money. You'll be giving them every month while they are pregnant until they have their baby. All kinds of things. I've been in situations like that. I've been in places I lectured at the university, and a girl actually came to the university and stripped before me as a lecturer. I used to hear those stories, and I wonder. She came, and while I was talking, she said I should explain something. Now, I lectured in that university. I taught genetics and cell biology. And so I've had a lot of experiences in my career, in my 60 years. And so after that session, it was a 2 to 5 lab session I had with them. Then a couple of them, about 7 of them, now followed me into my office to ask some clarifying questions around the lecture. And so I finished explaining to them. And then 6 of them left. This girl remained. And this was already getting to like 6 p.m. And the place was deserted. I don't want to mention the name of the university, because if you know the university at that time, it wasn't really. So it was. And then the office I had was a posh office. It was a really big office. So she said that she had something that she wanted me to explain to her. I said, okay. So what is it? She said that she wanted me to explain sex determination to her. I said, look, I wasn't the one who taught you sex determination. I mean, I can teach you that, but why are you coming to me and not to, he was Dr. Paul Murray at the time. So I took that course with Dr. Paul Murray, who of course became Professor Paul Murray. At the time, I said, why don't you go to Paul Murray? Who taught you that? That wasn't my whatever. She said, I want you to explain it to me, sir. So I hesitated for a moment and said, okay. So I picked the marker and then turned to explain X, 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 Y, and I was, making those diagrams and then explaining. Then I turned to her to ask, so do you follow? This girl, I didn't know how she did it, just removed and then brought these 2 bubbling, whatever, that just hit my eyes, You know what I mean? Women in the court, you know what I mean? You know what some of your people in your gender do. And so she just removed some shawl or something, that she had. And then the thing just bumped out, before me in that place. Now, it was a fear of God because, ladies and gentlemen, I was a young man. I was single at the time, and I'd never seen that sort of thing that up close like that. It was a perfect opportunity. It was a fear of God that kept me from taking that opportunity. Because, the fear of God was telling me, this thing is just 2 minutes. If I did this thing with this girl in this office, just 2 minutes. But these 2 minutes could change everything, could alter my destiny forever. And the shocking thing, the next Sunday, the following Sunday, I went to the chapel in that university. Lo and behold, that girl was there to worship. That shows you the difference between religion and spirituality. She was very religious. Goes to church, spirituality, 0. Okay, so you need the vertical relationship, okay? You need to build that vertical relationship. Just you as a human being with your creator. Forget all these mediators, prophets, forget all those mediators, Pope. You don't need all these human mediators, to connect to your maker. There's only one mediator. Which if you ask, you'll find out there's only one mediator, and that mediator is not human. Okay? There's also another aspect of vertical relationship, which is mentorship. Mentorship. I cannot emphasize the importance of connecting to a mentor this year for you. So, what mentorship does for you, and also coaching, is that what will take you 5 years to grasp, one session with a coach can save you 5 years, 7 years of blind searching. It happened to me because I'm never without a coach. My biggest personal development experience is always on coaching. And then joining masterminds. So there was one, I don't know how many of you know Dean Jackson. Dean Jackson was the person who developed this squeeze page idea. You have a lead magnet, you collect whatever. So he was a person, they used to call him the Buddha of marketing. So I attended Dean Jackson's mastermind in Celebration, Florida. I paid for it. That particular time, it was $5,000. I don't think it's still $5,000, So I paid for it. I flew myself to Florida to celebrate, and then housed myself in Celebration. Okay? Celebration, Florida. And then we had this. Now, the very, very first meeting that we had with Dean Jackson, he shared something that was worth In fact, he not only shared something that was worth the $5,000. When I came back to Nigeria, I got a project that paid off. So that's one secret about paying for coaching that many people have no idea. That thing usually pays for itself. And then experienced coaches actually make it such that you are going to get, at least in the immediate, when you are done, 10 times, what you invested in it. That's what happened to me. So he shared an idea, which I can share with us during another event, that gave me back that money multiples of times. So that's vertical, all right? Vertical, vertical has north, it has south. So you also want to build relationships with people you are mentoring, you are helping. Because wherever you are in life, there are other people coming behind you. And it's important that you give, you mentor people you are actually helping. Because one way to take yourself up is to share what you already have. You see, so I've been in this journey, where many of you haven't been. That's why you're here. Now I'm sharing with you. I am being lifted up. You see, you're not paying me. But the universe is rewarding me in many other ways. Let me not say universe. God is rewarding me in many ways, and many of you don't even, for doing this for you for free. So you're not paying for it. But you see, the reward I get on my DMs, like every single day, people are saying, you helped me. Since the day I started listening to you, my life has changed. People are saying, I listened to you, you changed my life, I just listened to you for 6 months, and now I bought land. People are saying, I listened to you for 1 month, and then my father has some plots of land back home that we have not been using, and then I decided to do palm. That in fact I've planted so many acres of palm, listening to you. Good God, do you know the social capital I'm building? So you might not be paying me, see, but these results, what will happen? If you find me in Liberia, some of you in Liberia, you find me in Liberia. If I get to Liberia, do you think I can be lost? Do you think I can be hungry? After all this, if I go to Zambia, do you think I can be lost? If I come to Congo, okay, so one of you is in Congo. Do you think if I come to Congo that I will ever get lost? If I come to Congo tomorrow and I need a hotel, don't I have somebody in Congo who will say, everything about your hotel, everything about your eating good food here, leave it for me? So it's a long-term thing. So your vertical includes north. This is connect direct. You don't need prophet. You don't need pastor. You don't need herbalist. You don't need, talk to God yourself. He's not religious, and you don't need any particular rituals. He's Heavenly Father. Talk to him. He will reveal himself to you. Ask him. Try it tonight. Then that is north. Then the south is you have to encourage other people. Teach other people. Share what you're learning with somebody. You are succeeding in a particular business. Help somebody. Apprentice other people behind you. You see, because the more you lift up others, the more you yourself are being lifted up. So for some of you who ask, why am I doing this? I'm spending so much doing this. So I'm talking to you right now. I'm running diesel generator. The electricity here is so bad. Sometimes 2-3 days there's no electricity. Sometimes the whole day. I bought Elon Musk's Starlink, and I'm paying $159,000 every month to be able to do this, because the internet was very unstable here. I'm doing it because of my relationship, the vertical relationship up, and then to you down. Why? Because tomorrow, if I help you to find yourself, if I help you to succeed, and I help your business to do well, won't you remember me? Even if you don't remember me, because one of you one day can say, everything about your internet subscription, this 159,000 naira, I will take care of it. Don't you think it can happen? Don't you think that can happen? Don't you think that one day one of you can say, because of the gratitude for how you have been helped to grow your wealth, and then a couple of you can say, your holiday this year to Malta, to wherever, we'll take care of it. So build relationships here. Now, there's also the horizontal relationships, okay? So for those of you just joining, we're talking about the top 3 priorities. Priority number 1 is manage yourself. Conquer yourself, conquer your habits, discipline yourself, because you cannot give what you don't have, and you cannot manifest what you are not. And then we said priority number 2, build relationships. And then we said that relationship has vertical and it has horizontal. Your vertical has north and south. North is your personal relationship with God. You need the fear of God in your life. And I'm not talking about religion. Forget religion. Many times, the religious people don't have the fear of God in their lives. How can you be religious? You're a priest. You're a minister. You're a pastor. And you are sleeping with people in choir. You are sleeping with other men's wives. And you still come out and stand there to preach. That's not the fear of God. How can you be religious? You take mass, you go to church and all that, but you cheat your customers. You cheat customers. You go to shop, you cheat them. And you don't even feel conscience. That's why I stay out of religion. I'm just talking about know God. Okay? The spiritual. And then we said the south part of it is mentor somebody. Teach other people. Help other people along their way. Help people in their journey. Along their way. So now we have horizontal. Now, the horizontal, to your right, you can write your family. I plead with you. I plead with you. I plead with you, ladies and gentlemen, reconnect with family. No matter how bad, take this step. Reconnect. If your family is scattered, reconnect. You see, it is a spiritual strategy, 1. Then it is also satanic strategy to split families. To split families. Because you know what? When families are not together, when families are split, the society starts getting bad. Because everything starts with a family. If your family is happy, and then if you raise happy children, if you have happy marriage, this society will change. But you see, husband is not talking to wife. People just got married 3 months ago. They're already talking about divorce. What is going on? What's going on? What's going on? Prioritize your relationship. Prioritize your relationship. If there is peace in your family, you will have so much joy around you. And then you have that joy will give you the energy to even make money, to succeed in what you're doing. Can you imagine if you're a man, you go out every morning to fend for your family, you work hard, you meet very difficult customers, difficult bosses, you fight in the office, people abuse you, things go bad, and then you come home to meet a very, very toxic and unfriendly woman. How do you feel as soon as you're getting into the door? Quarrel, fight starts. Because I've seen families, they fight. They fight through the night. During morning devotion, they are fighting, even morning devotion, religious people. They are fighting. And I'm like, how in the world? So you finish fighting in the morning, you go out like that. That's how accidents happen. That's how people make mistakes in their work, fatal mistakes. That's how accidents happen. And then you see people are very, very angry in traffic. And you have no idea the source of their anger. They had quarreled in the family. So I plead with you, ladies and gentlemen, build your family. Bring your family together. Reconnect with your siblings. Reconnect with your parents. Forgive. Everybody type forgive. Because I think the problem, one of the biggest problems, is that people just don't forgive. Forgive what your sister has done. Forgive what your brother has done. How can you say, I heard somebody say, what my father did to me, I will never talk to him again for the rest of my life. And there's some of you who've never talked to your father. For 5 years, you're holding grudges against him. I met a very dear friend, who hadn't talked with his father for 10 years. The man was aching, becoming old. The man is in his 90s right now. So thank God he reconciled with his father. Let's forgive. Let's heal the relationships of family. Okay? Take your family serious. Ladies and gentlemen, reconnect. Have time together. It's such a blessing. Because I know without family, without my family, I'm nothing. I wouldn't be here talking to people. So I'm wondering how people are able to cope when they do not have peaceful families. Okay, so that is horizontal to your right. Now to your left, that's where you have all others, professional relationships, friendships, community, That is where you have others. So you need to build professional community, be part of a professional community, whatever your profession is. Be part of it and be an active member and contributor in your professional society. Do you know that some people die, and people miss them? I've been to funerals where this group will come, this group will come, this group will come. In fact, it happened recently. We recently lost a very, very dear friend and family member. Different groups will come, and everybody was, she did this for us, she did this for us, she was part of this, she used to do this. Without her now, how are we going to? Because she was very, very valuable to different communities. So build relationships, okay? Okay, so let me read a few of your comments, and then we will take the final priority, the last priority. And then if you're joining us and you haven't shared this, please, it's a requirement that you share that, please. Take a moment and then share it right now and say, you can caption it, you need to listen to this right now, okay? Okay, so let me read a few things that some of you have put here. Okay. So there's someone, okay, doing exactly what we're talking about here. Okay, just begging for 1,700 naira. So apparently the guy is not even listening. Okay, Farsad, yes, I know. She said, it can happen, sir, and it will happen soon. Let me be rich. Thank you. Thank you. I know that. I know that for you particularly. Yeah, Obed, yes, you're watching from Gabon. Let me see. What have we got here? Yes, Farsad, family building. Yes, family building. And then let me also say that I understand that some of you might be in really very challenging situations, family-wise. As much as lies within you, do it. And then if you need, like professional help, if you need to, your imam to intervene, or you need your priest, to intervene, or you need the elders, community people to intervene, that's good. And you see, one reason I love marriage in Africa is that, it's true that the younger people are destroying things, but marriage in Africa, like my own marriage 30 years ago, it's not usually just those two people. Okay, does any of you understand what I'm talking about? We don't just marry two people. It's the two families that marry. It's the two families that marry. So marriage is not just a covenant, like for us, but it's those two communities. And sometimes there's something we do. There's something that people do in some cultures. My wife and I did our own, sort of mentally. But what people do sometimes, the girl brings a bag of salt. The man brings a bag of salt. And in marriage, they mix the two bags of salt. The one that the man brought and the one that the woman brought, they mix it. And you know the message that they're sending. So any day that the man comes and says, I'm not marrying again, they'll bring out that salt and say, okay, separate it. Take your salt out. Take your own salt out. And you get the point I'm making. That's how our ancestors took that thing very serious. But the reason I mention family is because of the way you got married. Sometimes, you may need to go back to the elders of this, to your families. The elders know. They know how to help you. They know how to sort out things, okay? So, but you might be in a very difficult situation, and some of you may have been in a very abusive relationships. That I understand. And then you may not be able to do something about abusive relationships, because I wouldn't encourage anyone to stay in physically abusive relationships, even psychologically abusive ones. But as much as lies with you, build relationships with family. Okay. Just one more. Let me read one more comment, and then actually let me see if I can read it here. Chikanigo says, managing nuclear and extended family funds can be a lot. Yes, the picture you painted about your family is adorable. Yes, it can be a lot. It can be a lot, but it's doable. You know, like every December holiday, you know, we all come together. All my siblings, their wives, people come from all kinds of places, you know, outside the country where they live. They flew in, like just last month, people flew in from different places. Flew in from different countries, you know, and then we are in one place. Some of you may have seen the song that, you know, I shared a couple of days ago with two of my sons. You know, one was not there, and his wife, you know, they were not there. They were the ones doing the recording. My God, that's like, when you talk about what's heaven like, and to think that some people don't have that, I don't really know. It's something I desire for everyone, and not just my own family. All my nieces, all my brothers and their wives, all my nephews, all of them, very rich time experience in one house, eating together, singing, laughing, playing games, and also planning the next day together as a big family. It's possible. And I tell you, it's a priority, okay? So at the end of, by December 31, I would like to hear stories about how you connected your families. Okay. Priority number 3, deliver results. Everybody type deliver results. Deliver results. That's your priority number 3. Deliver results. Not blame. Not explanation. You see, a lot of people, December 31, they don't have results. They have explanations. They have blames. They have complaints. Please don't do this in 2025. You know, so people at December 31, they say, okay, you know, explanation. The economy was very bad. Were you the only one in the economy? Were you the only one in the economy? People were in the same economy and they did very well. So deliver results, not explanations. So somebody can actually type it that way. Deliver results, not explanations, not excuses. No one eats explanation. Okay, your explanation is very good. The economy was bad. So are we going to eat explanation? So deliver results, not explanations. Deliver results, not blame. Okay? You know, at the end of the year, last year, some Nigerians blamed Tinubu. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, you might be right. You blamed him. Okay, at the end of the blaming, what? What are we eating? What do you come with? So, at the end of the year, all you have in your hand is a blame. Someone you're blaming is some explanation. That explanation makes you feel good. But what are the results? So, deliver results, not explanations. Okay? That is priority. So whatever you are doing on a daily basis this year, ask yourself, how is this contributing to the results that I want? The scrolling. So some of you say you want to make money, all right, which I would like to be very definite. So you want to make money, you want to build a house, you want to complete your course, you want to get a work visa to Israel, all the things that you wrote there. So those are results at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, you don't want to say, oh, I didn't make money because, no. If you want to make money, that's the result you want to deliver. So just make sure that your actions, your thoughts, your activities, your associations, your relationships are all geared toward delivering that result. Not excuses. And you've got to make, oh, somebody's asking, what is Tinubu, sir? Okay, sorry. I know for some of you who are Chilala, I think, Chilala, you're from Zambia, right? Yeah, Tinubu is the Nigerian president. So he's very popular because everybody talks about him, you know, that because of his, you know, very terrible policies, you know, there's just so much suffering, so much hardship in the country. The exchange rate of the Naira went from something like 700 to as bad as 1,800, you know, during the past year. So he was a source of so many excuses and blames, you know, and I said, okay, granted, but where are the results? Granted, but what are the results? So can you imagine? So I have a fable I created that I usually tell when I'm handling these top 3 priorities. So I want you to imagine a farmer, sorry, not a farmer, a hunter. For those of you in some other countries, I don't know, some of you some of you watching from America, I don't know if you have hunters. Yeah, but I think some people should go hunt for deer or something. So, but the way hunting happens in parts of West Africa that I'm talking about, like in parts of this country, usually it happens like an expedition. So a couple of hunters go to hunt in the forest, sometimes for 3 months, for like 90 days. So they go hunting. Now, so imagine a hunter goes out for 90 days, leaves his wife and children, and goes hunting for 90 days. Then at the end of the 90 days, the man comes home to a joyful wife and children, joyful family that's filled with expectations. Then, when he settles down, the wife gives him food to eat and all that. The children, everybody gathers around. And then he starts telling them, you know, his exploits in the forest, these 90 days. The first day, I saw an antelope, a deer. I took aim. But before I took aim, one mango fruit fell and startled it, and it ran, and I couldn't catch it. At another time, we saw a big python. In fact, this big python is so big, it can feed the whole community for 3 days. And something happened. I missed that python. I said, okay, there's another day. And then another day, I saw elephant. And then he started that story at 7 p.m. By now, it's 11 p.m. It's still stories. It's told stories for 4 p.m. Now, what do the wife and children want to hear? What do they really want to hear? Is it all these stories? Is it stories? What do they want to hear? Daddy, what's in the bag? Where is the meat? Where is, this is 90 days. What's in the bag? That's what they want to hear, not stories. So, your priority is to think results, not excuses, not stories. So, all of you who are here today, by the end of this year, I need you to deliver results, to me, not stories. Okay? So now, focus and execution separate dreamers from achievers. So to be able to deliver results, you need focus, and then you need execution, not theories, okay? So clarify your goals and your priorities once again, which we started. Clarify that and then focus on your vision. So in summary, there are 3 priorities in 2025 for you. So as your coach, these are the things I'm bringing to you, 3 priorities that you want to focus on. So the first one is to manage yourself. And the reason is you cannot offer what you don't have, and then you cannot manifest who you are not. So work on yourself, become first, deal with your bad habits, overcome them, because your bad habits will sabotage you. So if you don't deal with your bad habits, at the end of the year, you are still the same person that you are. So, and then if your bad habit is such that you need help, seek help. Okay, so overcome them, deal with your habit of procrastination, deal with your habit of pornography, it's destroying you, deal with your habit of gambling, sports betting, deal with your habit of drinking, deal with your habit of impulsive spending, because it's eating up your finances. So that is priority number 1. And that priority number 1 sets the stage for all the others. Then priority number 2, build relationships. Relationship wealth is wealth. Relationship wealth is wealth. A lot of people have money, but they don't have relationships. You will die alone, and you will die very sad. Okay? Priority number 3, and then before I go to priority number 3 for relationship, I told you that you have vertical, and then you have horizontal. Your vertical has north and south. So the north is connect with your creator. Connect with your creator. Get to know him for yourself. Even when we finish tonight, just ask him, God, if you're there, please reveal yourself to me. Show me yourself. I hear that you are my heavenly Father. Open my eyes. Let me know you. You will be amazed. He is invisible, but he listens, and he's there. Connect with him. Because the fear of God keeps you from evil. It keeps you from doing wrong. It keeps you from hurting others. It keeps you, it makes you a person of integrity in all your dealings. And you really need integrity for true success. And it also helps your discipline. Then the South represents people that are under you, people who are struggling in the same journey that you are going through, that you can help. You teach, you coach, you mentor, you disciple. Then we talked about the horizontal relationship. To your right is your family. Please build your relationship with your family. Reconnect with your family. Your family has your DNA. Your family has hidden wisdom, hidden gifts that that's your inheritance generationally. But when you cut yourself off, and other people cut yourselves off, you cut yourselves from generational blessings, generational strengths that were there. And many people struggle because they are not connected to their family and to their family heritage. And then to your left is all other relationships, and that includes relationships, your professional relationships, that include your relationships with your community, in the estate where you're living, in your neighborhood, and everywhere you go, you know. And then priority number 3, and the final one, is deliver results. Focus on results, not excuses, not who to blame. So that at the end of the year, you will deliver results, not excuses. Has this been an amazing night for you? Say so, say so. Tell me in the comment section. What's your key takeaway? As we round off, remember we do this. So don't jump off before doing this, because this is one way that you make sure that the things that you picked up tonight stick with you, and that you act on them. So tell me in the comment section, what was your aha moment today? What's your key takeaway today? What made your day today? What made this a very, very worthy evening for you? What is it you're going to take out and share with other people? You're so excited about it, you're going to share it with someone tomorrow. Type it in the comment section, and then I will read it. Okay? So David says top priorities. Okay, very good. The 3 top priorities. Thank you for this beautiful summary. Okay. Uchela Bush is just joining. Okay. All right. So Tapa says key takeaway: dealing with procrastination. Yeah, and I agree with you, because procrastination is one sabotager. Is it sabotager or saboteur? So, procrastination is a saboteur of destiny. Okay, you can type that in the comment section. Procrastination is a saboteur of destiny. Okay, Williams. Okay, also talked about those 3. Very good. Okay, that's your key takeaway. The 3 priorities. Adeniro Joseph says awesome. Yeah. Okay, I think we said the 3 points. All right. Keep it coming. Everyone, keep it coming. What's your key takeaway? What was your aha moment today? What made your day? What made this valuable time for you today? Okay. Kiyemi says mentorship. Absolutely. Okay. Awolowo says good. God is not religious. Talk to God yourself. Deliver, and then deliver results, not explanations. Yeah. God is not religious. It's not. Every religion was started by men. Even though every religion claims that God started it, every one of them claims that God started it. But truth is, God started no religion. I mean, how can same God, start different kinds of religion? Okay, Hussein says, really amazing. Key moment is relationship, especially devoid of mediators. Exactly. Relationship means everything. Okay, that's what you learned today. Very good. Adeni Ross, tonight's takeaway is self-discipline. Very good. Okay. Wisdom, Sonny. Beautiful summary. Wow. Okay. That procrastination is a dream killer. Conquer your bad habits. Okay. Relationship as vertical and horizontal. Okay. Spiritual relationship. Then mentor. Down part, mentor others. Very, very good. Excellent. Horizontal family relationships. Very, very excellent summary. Very good. Okay. Okay. Ogama, Iria Buchi. At the end of 2025, I will have results to show that something has changed in my life. No excuse for this. Fantastic. Okay. Udo Gadi says procrastination is my problem. All right. So hopefully you've heard some thoughts tonight that will help you. Jane says managing myself, building relationships, very and delivering results. Very good. Okay. Abdullahi, my friend. Okay. So key takeaway is deliver results, not excuses. Very good. Same thing with Godwin. Very good. David says building relationship. Chika Bonda says prioritize relationship. Very good. Okay, Chidebere Namani, Aha Moment Mentorship. Help those who are following the same path as you. Very good. Doing this also will help yourself. Absolutely. And Chika also says results, not explanation. Very, very good. So I want to thank all of you. It's been a wonderful evening with you. And so I'm rooting for you. And my prayer is that this year, 2025, will be a major turning point. Not just in words, but because you have been following the things I'm sharing with you, following these coaching sessions and then executing. So it is going to be a major turning point for you spiritually, and then in your finances, and also in your relationships. So whatever happens, no matter what happens, you keep showing up, because you have no idea what's coming your way next. I'll see you same time tomorrow. We are meeting here tomorrow to extend the conversations. Good night and God bless you.